Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. So let's start off the new year right by talking about this migrant situation. Now, I told you at the end of last year, or a few days ago, that I was going to stay on the Democrats' head because this is an issue. This is one of the issues that I feel that they are failing on. And one of the main issues which should persuade you to vote for or vote against or not vote at all when it comes to the Democratic Party being a Black American. And it's this migrant situation. Now, I said a few videos ago that I'll ask the question actually, what is going on? Or there's something going on that we don't know about. This is bigger than what it looks like. And I said that I believe that there are other countries outside the US that I don't think that, like Mayor Brandon Johnson and Eric Adams, I don't think they understand what's really going on because they dependent on Joe Biden and company to make things right when they're not even acknowledging what's going on. But I said, I think it's something bigger going on. And what I saw yesterday or, the last couple of days has validated my point. And this is from the yahoo.com by way of the Independent. Now, I'm going to go through two articles because we're going to have to dive into this deeply. But I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to start with the article from yesterday, and then we're going to go through the article that came before that, which caught my attention in the first place. And it says several passengers on Nicaragua-bound quote-unquote donkey flight couldn't explain why they boarded the charter flight. So we in America, we know, we've seen it before. You talk to someone whose first language is not English, and they can talk to you about anything, talk to you clearly, understand what you're saying, can regurgitate information, talk back to you in English, no problem. But then when you try to check them on something, all of a sudden, they don't speak English anymore. They don't understand. They speak in their native language, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French, whatever. Can't some African language. Can't speak a lick of English all of a sudden. Can't understand nothing you're saying. Well, it looks like this could be kind of the same thing. But let's get into the article. Like I said, we got a lot to get into, so let's go. It say the 21 Indian. Like I said, we're gonna go with, with the newest article first, so you probably kind of not really understand where I'm going with it until we get to the second one. But just bear with me. It says the 21 Indian passengers of the Nicaragua-bound flight of Legends Airline, which was grounded for suspected human trafficking in France, have failed to explain why they boarded the charter plane. The passengers were asked to record their statements by India's Central Investigative Department, the CID, on Friday, according to local media reports. Many of the passengers have maintained that they were traveling to Nicaragua as tourists. CID officers told the Indian Express newspaper. However, the unnamed officer told the newspaper that the passengers were unable to explain why they boarded the dubious flight, which had mostly single persons and unaccompanied minors. Again, this is bigger than just your Venezuelans. We've seen stories, we've seen videos. I've discussed it myself about they showing videos of people coming across the border, and they're not from South America or Central America. You can tell they're from Arabian countries, and some of them like Asian, young men from Asia at the border talking about they coming to seek asylum. But nobody is stopping them. The government is not stopping them. Greg Abbott shoot, if you ain't trying to help us, you it's like to get mad at Greg Abbott for trying to defend the border pretty much by himself. But nobody ever want to get to the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem was you did away with Joe Biden. Was it HB, whatever, 42, whatever it was, that said it had to be you had to stop them people at the border. They couldn't come over here. You're just going to send them right back. And then the Democratic Party said, hey, look, we got Trump out of office. So now everybody can come over. I don't think they even knew the influx, because they're like, ain't that many people going to come over. They ain't got no money in them South American countries. I mean, what's the worst could happen? But we're going to continue to read. It said, however, no, it's unable. Okay. They have valid documents to produce visas on arrival, and some even had tourist visas, the official said. They also can't explain why they paid their agents huge sums of money to board the flight. We're going to get into that in just a second. And an officer said they were also questioned by the department if they had any plans to cross into the United States of America illegally. After reaching Latin America, there was a rumor they had planned to enter the U.S. illegally after landing in Nicaragua. SP Raj Kumar, Additional Director General of Police, CID, Crime and Railways, told the Hindustan Times. We're going into details to find out who were the agents behind their trip. The flight, an Airbus A340 carrying 276 passengers, including 65 from Gujarat, was grounded for 4 days in France last week over suspected human trafficking, sparking speculations over illegal immigration. The flight landed in Mumbai on the 26th of December, and it has been a mystery ever since. What adds to the complexity of the situation is the significant sums of money passengers allegedly paid to local agents for facilitating the journeys. Again, we're going to get to how much money is being exchanged in these trips. While at least 2 agents have been named by the passengers, the CID said no legal action can be taken against them without concrete evidence of forged documents or a formal complaint from a passenger. The CID wants to take action against agents who have promised to help victims in the U.S. and other countries illegally, Superintendent of the CID said last week. But yet, these people acting like they don't know why they got on the plane. They just got on there. Oh, we paid a bunch of money to get on the plane. Why you get on the plane? I don't know. Got on the plane and just was going to head to Nicaragua? For what? I don't know. Like, really? Y'all just getting on plane. Y'all just doing what everybody else doing, huh? Grown folks. But they said there are unaccompanied children with no family getting flown to Central America. I bet if you do some kind of research, they have family in this country, in the United States of America. But now let's get into the original article that I saw that made me say, hey, there's something way bigger than what we know. It's already dangerous, but now it's on levels that we haven't even considered, because this is a worldwide invasion of the U.S. You see, when it comes to wars, it's a chess match. Governor Greg Abbott is playing chess with Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, the mayor of any other sanctuary city in the Democratic Party, trying to make them show their hand, trying to make them make a move, to make him stop sending immigrants. And the only way he's going to stop busing them is if you got to just shut all the buses and planes down and trains down, and across the United States, to stop him. Because he don't care. Because y'all going to have to do something to stop it. He can do this a long time. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Hell, I saw a Frontier Airline ticket, advertising. Was it this morning? This morning or yesterday morning? That was like a round trip ticket. I think a one-way ticket to Chicago for like $78. So if I can send somebody, if I can buy a plane full of tickets, what is it, 300? Let's say 300 seats on a plane, $70-something. What's that? Is that 2,000? 307, $21,000, I guess. There's an extra zero, yeah. To send people to another city, drop them. So let's say $3,000, give or take. $4,000, give or take, to send a plane full of people with bus tickets for $5,000 to a city, and they got bus tickets to go from that city to the sanctuary cities. $5,000 for 3,000 people. 300 people. Them 300 people, when they get there, is going to cost hundreds of thousands for them cities to house, clothe, find them employment, feed them, all that kind of stuff, give them money. It's a whole lot cheaper to ship them off to somebody else and be done with them than it is to keep them here. You see what I'm saying? So it's a chess match. So basically, Chicago and them gonna run out of money before Texas will. Before the city of Chicago gonna run out of money before the state of Texas will. The city of New York will run out of money before the state of Texas will. So Greg Abbott can do this all day, as Captain America would say. I could do this all day. So like I said, this is bigger than just people coming from down south. And it makes you want to wonder, is it time to move? Is it really time to look to relocate maybe other countries? Man, there is no empire in the history of man that has lasted forever. And you have people that are coming from other, because United States have a lot of enemies. And when you're in war, it's a chess match. And you have to do things that other people don't think you would do. And you have to wait until you find like a chink in the armor, a little crack in the seal, and you flood it. You flood it and you destroy what's inside. And what are these other countries are doing? Like I said, from across the world, they're sending in people. And we don't know what they are. They could be military. They could be hackers, people who know how to put viruses in computers. You don't know what these people can do. We have no idea. And once they get people in place, you might have these sleeper cells all across the country. And then once they start getting ready to attack and to act, it's going to be too late because they're already here. So the question is, again, we talk about staying here, fighting, this is our land, Aboriginal, ADOS, FBA, understand that. But sometimes you gotta choose your battles, because sometimes you're not fighting who you think you're fighting at all. So the second article says, plane detained in France sheds light on Nicaragua's role in U.S. migrant crisis. Now, here's one of the enemies that the U.S. has. So let's get into it. The detention in France of a charter plane bound for Nicaragua has renewed attention on the Central American nation's role as a springboard for migrants from across the world seeking to make their way to the United States. This is how those people from Asia, and the men we saw look like they're from China, crossing the border, and people that look like Middle Easterns crossing the border. This is it right here. The flight, because you kind of wonder, like, where did people come from? They're not walking. How in the hell are they getting here? Ain't nobody walking from nowhere, from South America, Central America, across the ocean. Nobody's doing that. Somebody had to be bringing them folk over here. So the flight, which left the United Arab Emirates on December 21st, with 303 passengers of Indian nationality, was grounded during a refueling stop after an anonymous tip-off alleging human trafficking. They say the passengers, however, were not being trafficked against their will, but rather attempting to migrate. So what's so great over here that they want to come over here? Again, it could be that they are trying to set up something for the destruction of this country. Man, y'all just need to pay attention. Like, serious. Nicaragua, I know they always say, don't watch the news because it's depressing. Try to watch something happy. That's why they got these social media sites so everybody can look at stuff to laugh and giggle and talk about gossip all day. But sometimes, man, you gotta look at the world news. It says Nicaragua is the closest country connected by land to the United States that does not impose strict entry requirements upon citizens of many nations who are barred from flying to other destinations without a visa. Now, you read recently there are a lot of countries that are starting to require visas to get in their countries now because of stuff like this. Because they don't want to do what the U.S. is doing and mess around and get their country destroyed, because the other countries see it. Smart people see what other people do or not do or not doing right and learn from it. You don't have to go through stuff. There's a lot of people around here who got to bump their heads in order to learn, but then you have people who see what other people go through and they're like, nah, I'm not gonna be able to do it. While some countries have imposed visa requirements upon certain nationalities under pressure from Washington, experts say that the Nicaraguan president Daniel Ortega has taken a contrarian approach in an attempt to weaponize migration and force negotiations over sanctions imposed on members of his inner circle. Quote, Ortega has been very astute by playing with what hurts the United States the most, said Ana Maria Mendez, director for Central America at the Washington Office on Latin America, referring to, you know what, real quick, this would say director for Central America at the Washington Office on Latin America. I was thinking about this yesterday. It's amazing how all these nonprofit organizations, like I said in the articles I see, they have people that have these titles that seem they were just made up. Like ACLU, they'll have the vice director of internal affairs, lawyer for Latin America citizenship and passport agency. Something crazy. And you're like, what the hell does he do? And then you wonder why when you give to these organizations and they tell you that only 3 to 7% of your donation actually goes to the people because they got to pay these fees for administration, is because these people are hiring they family members and they friends, creating positions for them, and they getting paid these high salaries to do things that maybe one person can do. And why I say it like that, because in the medical field, or just in corporate America, period, they may start out with, say, 10 people working at a company or the building, at an office, and then somehow somebody gets fired or quit, and they'll learn how to work it with 9. Maybe somebody else will get fired or quit, and they'll learn how to work it with 8. And then people start getting frustrated, saying they're working too hard, so they'll quit and they'll start working it with 7. Next thing you know, a 10-person job is now a 5-person job. And they getting along, quote unquote, just fine, they think. But yet, you go to these nonprofit organizations, or these organizations supposed to help the people, and they hire everybody and their mama and create these positions and make good money, wasting taxpayers' money on nothing. Why is it that the government can't work the way that regular America does? Anyway, let's get back to it. Whoever her name is, referring to the current migrant crisis and the political liability it represents for President Joe Biden heading to the 2024 election. It's like pouring alcohol on an open wound. That's right. Keep pouring. Joe Biden, you got problems. I mean, shoot, like I said, we want our reparations, and we don't care what keeps mounting for you. Black Americans still want tangibles. That's what we want, and that's what we deserve. We want reparations. We want an anti-hate crime bill. We want the police revamped, not defunded, but destroyed and recreated better. They're just things that, we want taxes to be diverted to lower income communities, housing appraisals, redlining, all that stuff. All that stuff you can't prove was racist, and we know it is. We need all that stuff straightened out. We're going to need it all, or you about to get more than what you asked for. What they say, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get. I believe they wanted some migrants to come in so they can work cheap, ain't got to pay us. But you got a war on your hands right now, what it looks like, buddy. In 2014, as another migrant crisis boiled over, Nicaragua imposed visa requirements on Cuban citizens to help stem the flow of migrants heading to the U.S. border. Looks like they were trying to help us, huh? But since then, relations between the two countries have deteriorated due to Ortega's rigging of the 2021 election and a slew of human rights abuses. Following political upheaval in Cuba during the summer of 2021, Ortega rescinded the visa requirements for Cuban citizens. The charter flights from the island began soon after as a sort of escape valve from the Cuban government, which would rather see people leave than protest in streets, explained Mendez. You remember the movie Scarface? Right, I mentioned this in a past video. that the beginning of the movie, I think a lot of people wasn't paying attention to that. All they want to talk about is a dude came over here, took over the coke gang, and then went out like in a blaze of glory. The bullcorn part of the movie. But you didn't see the most important part in the beginning. When they came here, it was back when I was young, so I don't remember. So I'm just trying to going off of, what I can recall being told. But there was a problem between Cuba and Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan's like, was it Cuban? Yeah, I think Cubans want to come over to the country, but Castro, they couldn't stand Castro. So they was like, they trying to find some reason to fight Castro because he's a communist. Let's just say it. So they were trying to make him send over, Cubans who want to come to America and live better, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. He kept saying, no, no, no. So what did they do? I think they made some big threats. So he said, okay, I'll do it. And what he ended up doing was emptying his prisons and shipping them people over here. Same thing that's going on now in Florida, where Biden has that law. Did in the last video, and I'm referring like all this stuff ties in. That's why I want y'all to watch my channels, because a lot of stuff be tying in sometimes. Biden got this parole act for foreigners that if they like criminals and they want to be paroled in the U.S., they can, but they got to have some kind of sponsor, a financial sponsor already living in this country. And with that being said, they say it's been over a 550% increase in the influx of migrants coming through Florida. Who in the hell is financially supporting these people? And that's what I want to know, because that's, like I say, there's a rabbit hole here, folks. It's a rabbit hole. Do you got your passport? I sure hope so. Get ready to use it. Let's see. Eventually, people from other nations such as Haiti follow suit in order to shorten their journey to the United States and avoid the treacherous Darien Gap route along Panama's southern border. Okay, he talks about the frost relations, but I'm trying to get to, let's see, hold on. On October 30th, the government of Haiti acted a ban on charter flights to Nicaragua, which in the previous 3 months had transported roughly 30,000 people. As a result, the number of Haitians traveling north by land through Honduras dropped dramatically in November. So that's why you got to have these relations with other countries. Because if not, they will set you up for failure. Then on the 21st of November, the State Department announced a new visa restriction policy targeting owners, executives, and or senior officials of companies providing charter flights into Nicaragua designed for use primarily by irregular migrants to the United States. Again, there is your funding. Corporations paying for people to come here. Why? So they can work for little or nothing. And yes, that does affect us because, like I said in another past video, that when they come out here and work cheap, it affects citizens, or to say natural citizens, in their pay, in our pay. It drops by like 2 to 3% a year. Or so many migrants that come in. So again, the rabbit hole. You got to pay attention to this. Several charter companies stopped flights, but some were apparently undeterred. That included Legend Airlines based in Romania, which earlier this month sent the first direct flight from Europe to Nicaragua in years and was responsible for the plane detained in France. The flight from France, now let's get to this nitty gritty, this meat story over here. The flight from France was ultimately rerouted to India, minus 2 passengers who were held for further investigation and 25 others who decided to request asylum instead of returning to their home country. So it must be bad in India, I guess. So they think you get it better in the United States. But check this out. India has launched its own investigation into the flight, which passengers reportedly paid between $48,000 and $150,000 to board. An Indian police official told AFP. Now, you know that United Arab Emirates is like one of the richest countries, if not the richest country in the world. Or area. I don't know if it's a country or not, but whatever. It's rich. It's one of the richest places in the world. They got endless amounts of money. You think the white folk over here got money? Them folk got money. You see pictures of they driving like golden cars made out of gold, not gold plated, not gold wrapped, but gold car, golden. And they just It's that oil money. They got oil and gold and stuff over there. It's like they got unlimited amounts of money. As long as that oil keep pumping, they make money non-stop, and they control the oil, at least 20 to 40% of the oil being shipped around the world. So in that area. So $40,000, $150,000, shit, that's $150. I ain't gonna lie, I make, maybe, do I? I can say I can make about that much money a year, give or take. Easy, that $150. But these people paying that much for one flight. Where in the hell is my calculator, man? You talking 48,000, we feeling like I said, this is kind of loud, but not really. You talking 48,000 and 150. Oh, now my computer want to go slow. 0, 1, 4, 8, 9, 12. It's okay. 0, 0, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 0, 0. Add 3 zeros. So you talking 7.2. If they just paying 48,000, you're talking $7.2 million at a minimum on that plane. And it says roughly 100,000 Indian nationals have arrived at the U.S.-Mexican border in 2023, more than 10 times the number of 2019. $7.2 million a flight. And you're talking 100,000 nationals, and you're talking 300 per flight. How many flights is that? I have no idea. But man, this is bigger than what y'all think. You're going against, when you got these militants out here, right? Militias, let's say that. The militants are, I think, reserved for black people. When you got these militias out here, you know, with these weapons, living off the grid, saying they're ready for the government. If they ever try to attack, we got our weapons. And you look at them and you yawn and you give them the raised eyebrow and you keep it moving like you ain't heard them, because you see how stupid they sound. And because you know that government can just wipe out anybody who opposes them like that, which I don't understand these wars. I think wars are like games, or something about them is not right. Because how do you have a war in this day and age? I don't see how a war lasts more than a day. I just don't. Because everybody got the military, everybody got the weapons, they got the technology to, hell, if they got the technology to pinpoint where a cell phone is at any given time of the day, they can find you in a room or in the back of a trunk of a car, on a trash can in a back alley. And we're talking 20 years ago. If they can do that now, and how from satellites that supposedly up in the sky, why in the hell would a war last more than a few minutes? How you figure they can't pinpoint who they want to target, knock it all out, and go on about their business? This stuff is about money and power, and I think they're just playing games with each other and using human beings, citizens, as pawns in a game of chess. But like I said, you malicious, or even my people, all our people said, I got weapons, but I'm not finna sit here and say, oh man, the government ever try to get me. You know what I'm saying? I got something for them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, let's see how far that go. And a matter of fact, they could probably take you out and then you not even know it. You see stories of where they take out officials, like political officials, take them out. What was that? Is that was that the dude over there? And was it one of the Korean, Kim Jong-un or whatever, his family? What's the story that women shook the dude's hand or hugged him or kissed him or something, and dude got poisoned and died? And the women was like, we didn't know what was going on. That same thing happened on that show 24. And I told you, my dad just say, they get this stuff from somewhere. They ain't just making this stuff up. This stuff is real life, and it is. But anyway, they got ways to take people out. Poison, you know, the what's your boy Vladimir Putin done, like, people that oppose him or talk about him in the press, things that happen to them. It's easy for them to take you out. So don't sit there and think that. I mean, your weapon is good for people on your same level that's trying to harm you. It just give you a chance to do something. But anything above you, you might well just forget it. I mean, you just might well don't even try to pull it out. Just put your hands up because you got the same chance. But you talking about fighting the government. These people over here are spending $7 million to fly people, to get people over here to this country for whatever reason. And like I say, I believe it's to destroy the country from the inside. But y'all ain't paying attention to that. We are not paying attention to that. That's what we got to be looking at. There are a lot of enemies here, like I said. Well, let's keep going because I'm almost finished. Yeah, pretty much done. Meanwhile, flights from Cuba continue to arrive in Managua via an airline owned by the Venezuelan government, which is seemingly unconcerned about sanctions, but is also engaged in its own set of negotiations with the White House after relations have been severed during the administration of former President Donald Trump. Now, what did Donald Trump do? Donald Trump said, y'all can't come over here like that. America first. So the mother countries got pissed. And then here comes America first, which he's supposed to do because other countries put their countries first, right? But then here come old Biden and his people on them damn government party lines and like, oh, Trump did this, and we're going to do the opposite. Dude, now you done set your country up for failure. Unless you finna start this World War III and you just trying to create a reason to wipe out the rest of the world, which can't put it past some folks. Unless it's what you're going to do, man, you have set us up for failure. But let me finish this out. On social media, supposed travel agencies advertise flights on a Venezuelan airline from Havana and Managua for about $1,500, as well as all-inclusive packages for $4,000, and up that includes services such as transport to Mexico, meals, lodging, and even assistance with navigating the U.S. Customs and Border Protection CBP-1 app, which is used by migrants. To, among other things, make an appointment to apply for asylum. Now check this out. The airlines and travel agencies are facilitating this. No, hold on. The airlines and travel agencies that are facilitating this are the new coyotes, says Mendez, using the term for illicit people smugglers. So people, are y'all paying attention to what's going on? Are we too busy worrying about which rapper and his wife are breaking up? Why one rapper and his girlfriend, why she came back around and got pregnant and then get married? Are we worried about other people's relationships? Oh, I think they got us focusing on the wrong thing. We are not focused on self-preservation, which is very dangerous right now. Because the world, there's something about to happen. It's that movie, Leave the Earth Behind or Leave the World Behind, whatever. And that little girl on the beach and she's watching that big oil tanker and saying, hey, that oil tanker kind of close. The thing what you don't realize, what I don't think the people on the beach really realized, even though she saw that it was close, it was turned the wrong way. I've been on beaches, been on cruises. And when you see big tankers like that traveling, they're never facing the land until they getting ready to dock. And then it'll slow down and then it'll slowly turn and then it'll go there. So if a ship is pointed straight at you and you sitting on the beach, no matter where you at, 9 times out of 10, it's a good idea for you to get up and get going because that ain't right. You got to pay attention to what's happening right now. What we seeing here, this ain't right. So it's time to make other plans. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story, man. You got to think about it, man. It's tens of thousands of these people coming to the borders daily. daily, coming to the Texas border daily. I'm not talking about Florida, Arizona, California, New Mexico. I'm talking about Texas alone. And this guy's shipping these folks to these cities, which, I mean, on the outside looking in, it's jacked up because he is actually pushing these people further into the country, which is dangerous in the sun gun. It may not be too smart for the future of the country, but the man's about self-preservation. I think, shoot, really, Texas, I think we really believe that we could just defend off anybody who wants to try to intrude, because that's just how we think. We don't care. And we're going to go out and we're going to die trying. So this is something to look at too. There's something to be worried about, yes. Scared about, I don't know if that's the words you want to use, but that's fine. But everybody needs you to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on and make plans for self-preservation of you and your family. I think this is one of them things where the country needs to stick together. Forget this Democrat and this Republican and these different parties that they want you to, trying to divide you along party lines. This is an American problem. And if Americans can't come together on something like this, then I don't know what we expect to happen. While we sitting here fighting over Democrat and Republican, man, people starting a war on us. But anyway, tell me what you think about the story. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. And with that being said, I leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.